and welcome to this NRL PlayStation Tier 2 stream. Tonight the drivers are taking on the Spanish Grand Prix circuit as White9 BRT gets very close to that Red Bull track where he was Jago. Our winner last time out in Bahrain, but Spain is a very different circuit to Bahrain, and rain is also forecasted for the race, so it'll be interesting to see how that is. But Gareth unfortunately here has spun out. You catch me at the end of this qualifying session. Unfortunately I was busy, so I only caught pretty much the end of this session here, but we're getting right into the thick of things, and at the moment it's the two McLarens of Burglar 70A and NMS VR5 on top, so it'll be interesting to see if they can keep this pace up, as they'll have challenges from those behind them. The first coming from White9 BRT in the Ferrari, who improves by 2 turns, but it's not enough to challenge the all McLaren front row. Gareth spun on his lap, of course, and an interesting figure we do have here tonight is the NRL Tier 3 Season 2 champion, Kieran, who is reserving in the Aston Martin for tonight. So good to see him back in the thick of it and thick of the action. But Javille is not having as much fun here as he did last time out in Bahrain, as he is spun there on the exit of turn 2. So he's going to need to come into the pit lane and go again there, as his tyres will be his tyres will probably be overheated, and he's burnt a lot of ERS as he's gone for multiple runs already. So Jean is be the next driver to cross the line. He's marginally down in his sector 2 time, but he finds some time through sector 3 and improves to 189. Not enough to challenge the guys in front of him, but does give him some more security to Sam Burke and Vetton behind him at the moment, as we now head towards the 2-minute 30 mark. So this is where we're going to start to see drivers coming out for their laps, and coming out for their final laps, as the pressure is turned up here in Q in this qualifying session. Javille's off the track again, so it looks like he's definitely struggling in that Red Bull. By the way, there is rain forecasted for the race, so that is definitely going to spice things up here as we ride on board with the Season 2 Tier 3 champion, Kieran, who of course I said earlier in the stream is reserving for today. So nice to see him back racing in NRL. Hopefully he can get a good result today. But at the moment it's the all McLaren front row, Burglar and MLS BR5 currently sitting in P1 and P2, both Tier 3 drivers. So showing flying high here and showing that Tier 3 may actually be the better tier, in fact. But I'm sure the Tier 2 drivers will not be too happy about that, and the first driver that will finish his final flying lap will be Sam Burke. He's marginally up in his first sector, but he runs very wide through turn 4, so that's not going to find him a lot of time. He gets turn 5 nicely hooked up, but doesn't run as wide as he could have on that exit curve. Now heading down towards turn 7 and 8, and missing that sausage curve they've added on the outside of the corner now, as he now flies round to the end of the sector 2 and into the heavily modified sector 3 with this new turn here, where you can carry the car with so much more speed than before, keeping it as high as 3rd or 4th gear through here. But now this corner becomes a lot harder, and this corner is, I think it's a bit wider, but not too wide enough for Sam Burke there, as he unfortunately goes too wide and gets on the curb, which spins him around and ends his qualifying session. But anyways, back at the top, Burglar and MLS BR5 will be the next one to set their laps. Kieran is also, no, that's not Kieran, Tiger Assassin's on the outlap, and he gets out of the way of MLS BR5, but not before holding him up, I think. Burglar is marginally down on his sector 2 time, but he is purple for his sector 2, MLS BR5 is up by 2/10, but not purple. So it's all down to this final sector, which of the McLarens can get hooked up better. Gareth is marginally up on his sector one time, and MLS BR5 is in the gravel. MLS BR5's qualify session is over, so now that leaves Berger. Can Berger improve on his lap and secure that front row for McLaren? No, he cannot improve there. He actually, I think he matched his lap time there. So, lovely consistency from the McLaren driver. Welcome to the chat, LH Mannix. Vettel is currently in P11, so he's going to have to pull a lap out of the bag if he wants to get into P1. Kieran is also in a lap, but he's 4 attempts down through the first sector. Let's see what his second sector split is looking like. He's purple through sector 2, but he's still down in his lap. Tiger did not make the line. John has had to back out of his lap. Vettel is 9 seconds up, so watch out for him at the end of the session. But Gareth still pole. He was on pole position in week 1, but he cannot do it again. He improves to 118.1, but he cannot challenge the top 3. So now it's all down to Vettel. What can the Ferrari man do? Can he put himself up into the top 5? No, he can't. He moves into P8 with a 118.7. So there it is. Berger 78, who matched his lap time on his final run, starts on pole position. MLS BR5, who made a mistake after being 2 attempts up on possibly a provisional pole lap time, will have to start the race from P2, and YC9 BRT will start from P3, closely followed by Gareth in P4. As we now go to the final qualifying results, it's Berger 78 on pole by about 1.5 seconds to MLS BR5 in P2. McLaren front row lockout, just like we saw in Australia with Williams. YC9 BRT starts in P3 for Ferrari, whilst it's Gareth in P4. Kieran, the Tier 3 champion from last season, starts in P5. SJK 6, Javel 7th. 8th for Vettel, 9th for Tiger Assassin, 10th for Jean, and Sambert rounds out the grid in 11th place. As we now go towards the race start here, as I mentioned earlier, there is rain forecasted in this race. I did not know when it was going to come, but apparently it looks like it will be raining from the start, from the get-go here. So let's see. This is full wet conditions. Yeah, this definitely looks full wet conditions. So similar to the conditions we got on Monday night in PlayStation Tier 1, that was also a wet race, which I believe went to dry. I'm not sure if it dries up at the end of this race, but it is definitely raining. It's definitely raining it down here in Catalonia. So we'll see how the weather progresses during the race. There's a big possibility that it could turn to dry, but formation lap is of course back on, I believe. If Tiger has turned it back on for the lobby, which he is not, so we are going racing. I think it's 5 red lights and away we go, and yeah, we're racing. So Tiger's forgotten to put the formation lap on, but at the moment it's Berger who gets the best start, and now Gareth is going to be down the inside as they head down towards turn 1. Who's going to brake latest? MLS BR5 is late on the brakes, but maybe too late. He runs off track and now comes back on track side by side with Berger. Berger keeps the lead. Gareth has lost out a bit. There's a massive collision at the back. Sam Burke, AJ UK, massive contact here as Gareth is off as well, and someone has lost their end plate there. I believe that might be Tiger, who has damage in the Aston Martin. So massive incident there as Vettel's getting past AJ UK, who has a damaged front wing, I believe, and so does Jean, and Gareth has damage as well, as we saw him go off. So clean start for the two McLarens up front. They are doing exactly what they need to do for this race, but at the moment it's Jayville who's managed to get up into P3 after starting in P6, I believe, or P7 in qualifying. So a good start from the Rebel driver so far, but he's going to have to overtake those two McLarens, and in these wet conditions it is not going to be easy, as what Tiger gets past Y69 BRT down the straight. Y69 BRT has damage there, so that is the cause of his struggles. A lot of drivers struggling here in the wet conditions at the start, but we'll have to wait and see how it progresses. Of course, there's every possibility for safety cars or dry weather possibly playing a part in this race, but Berger with the fastest lap at the moment. He's stretched the gap to his teammate to 7 tenths already. Y9 BRT is into the pit lane. Sam Burt stays out, Kieran stays out, Gas stays out. So it looks like Y69 BRT was unfortunately the only person that picked up damage here on lap 1, as everyone overtakes him. He's now down into last position in this race, but Kieran is looking for a way past Sam Burke here, as they're going down towards the infamous turn 4 where Hamilton and Rosberg famously made contact. Can Kieran go down the inside? He lunges there and Sam leaves the door open. Can Kieran get him on the tractions? They're now side by side down in towards turn 5. Can Kieran get around the outside? This would be a lovely move from the Aston Martin, and he makes it work. A fantastic move from Kieran there in the wet, threading the car perfectly around the outside of Sam, but he's run a bit deep, but it's okay, as Sam was not aware and not looking for an opportunity to overtake. But at the moment, Berger is controlling the pace, and it doesn't look like Jayville. It looks like these three are pulling away from the rest of the grid here. Tiger's already 3.6 seconds off Jayville, and we are only at the end of lap 2, so it looks like the top 3 have the pace at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see how that progresses as we go towards the end of this race, as Berger sets the new fast lap 1:34.3. It's quickly beaten by Jayville's 1:34.2. So the man who had the pace in Bahrain seemingly has the pace again here in Spain. So I'm wondering if he went for a wet setup instead of a dry one in qualifying. So it looks like he was struggling all over the place for balance in qualifying, but it looks like he's doing pretty well so far here in the race. But he does run a bit wide out of turn 3, saying as I say that. But at the moment, Berger has the lead by about 4 tenths to his teammate, and MLSB are 5 behind them. The two Aston Martins are 4th and 5th, closely followed by Sambert, and then Gareth, who's making a comeback despite the damage he picked up on lap 1. Actually, he might not have picked up damage, but he definitely did run off track on lap 1. Jean as well and Vettel are going to have a duel here in the wet as they now head down towards turn 6. Can Vettel make the move down the inside? He's going to try use the ERS. He's going to send it to the inside of Jean. Jean can't defend it, maybe looking for a better exit, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's got a beautiful switch back there on Vettel, perfectly placed that Haas car to get the move back done on the Haas car, sorry, on the Ferrari car. He was trying to make the move past him, but he's going to have to defend here as Vettel will not be giving up that easily, as AJK runs very wide there at the newly modified turn as he nearly puts it into the barrier, and Vettel and Jean are going at it again. I think Jean must have made a mistake, as now Vettel has got past him, and this time there's no way back for Jean, as Sam Berg has now been overtaken by Gareth as well for P6 as he makes a small mistake out of the final corner. But he's going to have the ERS, he's going to have the overspeed as they head down towards turn 1. Can he make the move around the outside? He's going to try it. Gareth is going to try to leave the space, but Gareth defends it well and keeps that P6 position now, as the two McLarens are having a bit of a duel up front. Y9 BRT with the fastest lap of the race at 1:34.2 for the Ferrari man at the back, so he has got the pace. We're just going to have to wait and see how he does over the remainder of this race, but at the moment all eyes are at the front on the two McLarens. MLSBR5 seemingly has more pace than his teammate Berger 78 at the moment, and it looks like he's going to go for the move here as he now head down towards turn 10. The game giving me the worst camera angles possible, but Berger defends it well and keeps that place in front of his teammate, as LSBR5 is going to have to wait another lap to try and get this move done. But Javil's dropped off a bit from the two McLarens up front as they start to duel. So he's within striking range if one of them loses out in the battle. But MLSBR5 doesn't get the best exit off the final corner, and that is going to give his teammate a bit of breathing space onto lap 5 of 33. Burglar has got less ERS though than MLSBR5, so that might be a bit of an issue in the later laps as Vettel sets the fastest lap at 1:34.185. So the Ferraris are definitely finding the pace here as YC9 BRT is now only 3 seconds behind AJK, and the two Ferraris are trading fastest laps at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see how they could do. But unfortunately, as I say that, Vettel has crashed, and that could trigger a safety car, and yes it does. The safety car is out. Vettel has crashed here in turn 3. It looks like he just lost it on the exit, and yeah, there he is in the barrier as his teammate drives past him. So an unfortunate crash with Vettel. His day is over, and unfortunately LH Mannix, Vettel will not be winning tonight's race, but maybe next week. Sorry, next race. Next week is a break week, in fact. So maybe next race he can pose a challenge for the win. But this is going to be interesting. The track is still way too wet to think about inters, but I wonder if someone might take a gamble. I do not know how long this wet weather period is for, so if it's the whole race, I could definitely see some people coming in for wet and then trying to go to the end, and that might be what Burglar's doing, and MLSBR5. MLSBR5 is trying to give the gap to his teammates so he doesn't get held up, but I'm not sure that's quite big enough a gap. And now if you're Javel, you're licking your lips. If your team can get a quick pit stop here, you could be jumping MLSBR5. And as I said, the Burglar's in for inters. Burglar has taken a massive risk, and both McLarens are in for inters. Javel had to wait in the pit lane for ages, and I don't know why. But Tiger stayed out on wets. Gareth has stayed out on wets. The two McLarens have gone for inters. Javel's bought for wets. Let's see what everyone else does. Inters for Sam Burke. Kieran's gone for wets, and Jean has stayed out on his wets. So we might be at the crossover. Well, from what I can see, it still looks a bit too wet for the inter compound tires. But we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of, well, half the grid essentially is on the inter compound tires. So maybe we've reached the crossover, or maybe the crossover is soon and people are boxing for the inters so they don't lose time under the safety car. But this could massively backfire if the track is still too wet. And I'm not sure. Both McLarens have gone for the inters, so they were the race leaders, so I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see how this pays off. But this could be a 1-2 thrown away from McLaren if these inter tires do not work. But this is actually really interesting because half the grid is on wets and then the other half is on the inters, and I'm not sure how this could play out. It all depends on how the track is when we get racing, because of course if it is still full wet conditions, that could still change whilst we are under the safety car. But let's wait and see when the safety car comes into the pit lane. But at the moment, yeah, so Gareth is in for the inters. So I think we might have reached a crossover now, because a lot of people, Kieran's also come back in. He just spots onto the wet, so he's come back in for inter compound tires. So I think that the inters are now faster. So could this be a strategic blunder by Javel, Jean and Tiger Assassin, who are the only drivers still left on the wet compound tires? We'll have to wait and see here as we are going towards hopefully the safety car is in this lap. But whilst we are waiting for the safety car to come in, I will run you through the standings after 2 weeks of racing here in PS Tier 2. So at the top of the standings is of course Veteran 1, championship leader after 2 rounds, 2 podiums, P2 finishes in a row, earned him 36 points, but unfortunately he will not be adding to his total here as he is DNF'd in this race. Prem's in second on 27 points. He won in round 1 and picked up 1 point last time out, so he's not here tonight, so will not be adding to his total points. And then Javil's in P3, White9 BRT's in P4, Toga Assassin's P5, AJK's P6, Sam Burke P7, Carlos J100 is in P8, Gareth is in P9, Jean is P10, Charlie's P11, Norwegian boy who's unfortunately fractured his ankle, I think, is in P12, Nathan Wiedebert in 13th, and Charger in 14th. But anyways, we are going towards the safety car restart. The strategy calls will all unfold here. Has Tiger got it right here by staying out on the wets, or have the 2 McLarens play the strategy absolutely perfectly off the final corner? It looks about even, and that's a massive tank stopper for Jable there at the back in the Red Bull on the wet compound tyres. So I think the wets are slower, but here we go, 3 wide possibly into towards turn 1. The 2 McLarens are going to make contact as MLS BR5 is going to try go around the outside. He's gone off track, but he has made the move on his teammate. He might need to hand that back, and it looks like he's going to do that through turn 3 as Jean is sliding all over the place trying to get past these guys. It looks like both of them don't have the grips. They're not going to go side by side in towards turn 4. Will they make contact? No, they don't. They keep it nicely clean, and Bergler's going to hold the position. Jean is going to try get past MLS BR5 in towards turn 5. He's run a bit wide though, but can he get the move on the traction? Yes, he can. Jean makes the move on the traction. Here comes Javille. Can Javille go around the outside? No. MLS BR5 cuts him off. Gareth is down the inside of Sam Burke, and look at the gap Tiger has got already. 3 seconds for the Aston Martin driver. So it looks like the wet compound tyres are the faster compound at the moment, as now John is going to make the move to the outside, and he's going to get past Berger as well, as Jable's also going past MLS BR5, as now Jean clean around the outside of Berger 78 and up into P2, and Jable only has to overtake Berger, and then all the 3 drivers who stayed out on the wet compound tyres are the top 3. So how about that? The drivers who trusted their instincts, stayed out on the wet compound tyres, are the guys who now lead this race, and now all the inter drivers are going to struggle here, as these 3 will just pull away from them. But Tiger already has a gap of 4 seconds because of the battling of the cars behind. Jean trying to get past the 2 McLarens who were struggling on the inters whilst battling, so really holding Jean and Jable up. But at the moment Kieran is going for a move on AJK, and he's made it work in towards turn 1, and now MLS BR5 is going to be under pressure from Gareth. Look, I don't know what has happened, but Javel down the inside of Jean, he's pushed Jean a bit wide, but he has made the move. I don't know what's happened to the McLarens, but it looks like they don't have the same balance that they did on the inter-compound tyres. White9 BRT now is going to be looking for a move on the Season 1 Tier 2 champion AJK, as they now head towards turn 7 and 8 here of the track, but nothing doing there for the Ferrari driver. But at the front, Tiger leads by 4.4 seconds. This is fantastic for the Englishman, who hasn't tasted victory in ever, I think. I don't think he's ever won in NRL, which is quite surprising considering he's the owner. But we'll have to wait and see how he does, as he's often in positions like these where he's winning, but unfortunately for one reason or another falls off, and that's MLSBR5. He's getting overtaken by Gareth. I wonder if he might have picked up some damage fighting his teammate so hard, but he does have better straight line speed than Gareth as they head down towards turn 1. I think he'll get the move done, but Gareth could stay down the inside here as they head down in towards turn 1. Gareth running all over those social clubs at turn 1. Now he's going to be under pressure from Sam Burke possibly, but Sam Burke cannot make the move here as he looks to the outside. It's a nice helmet he's got there. It's a fish, I think, which is pretty cool. I've only just picked that up now, but unfortunately for him, he cannot make the move on Gareth. He was left vulnerable from fighting MLSBR5. Y9 BRT is so close to edge of the AK, but cannot make the move as the champion is using all his experience to fend off the Ferrari driver in P2, but in P10. But can he possibly make the move? The gap now at the front is 5 seconds, so Jabil does not have the pace to compete with Tiger at the moment, and it looks like Tiger's pace is unparalleled in that Aston Martin. But meanwhile, Kieran and Sam Burke are going to have a battle here as Kieran's going to try to switch it back on the Alfa Romeo, and he's going to send it around the outside. Can he make the move here as he goes round the outside, and there's a bit of contact, but yes, he makes the move on Sam Burke. And unfortunately for Sam, the fish helmet is not helping out here in the rain in the way he would have expected. But Tiger with new fastest lap with 1:33.7, and the gap is now 6 seconds at the front. Tiger is driving away from the competition here, and he's definitely on fire. But Gareth now is going to be looking for a move around the outside of MLSBR5. Can he make it? Last time he tried the inside, didn't work, so this time he's going to try the outside, and it's going to work for the Willis drive. There's a bit of contact. Oh, and Gareth has to go off track, and that is John. John has spun into the barrier, and Kieran, the ever opportunistic tier 3 champion, has dived it down the inside of Gareth and MLSBR5, and he's moved himself up into P4. So chaos here as as Kieran has now moved himself up into P4. Gareth's trying to go for the move on MLSBR5. Veterans unfortunately left the set. Oh no, Veterans DNF'd anyways. Okay, I thought he disconnected, but unfortunately for the current championship leader, as he is DNF from this race. Gareth trying to go for the move there around the outside MLSBR5, getting a little tap which forced him off track, and then Jean spinning caused chaos, and it allowed Kieran to jump his way up into P4. But now I think the crossovers finally happened. It doesn't look as damp on track, and Berger is all over the rear end of that Red Bull of Jayville. But Jayville's losing so much time to Tiger. It was 6 seconds at the end of the last lap, and now it is almost 8. But I think the crossover is happening because that's a 32.693 new fastest lap from Kieran. So I think the tyres have crossed over. This yellow flag is the final corner. That's because Jean has spun again at the back. So I think the wet tyres are finally starting to overheat. But can Kieran go for a move here on Berger? It's going to be chaos down towards turn 4. Jabel's defending the inside. Berger tries to the inside anyways, but he's not. He's going to get his nose in, and Jabel doesn't have the traction to fight him, but he's able to stay ahead just by a bit. Kieran's looking to the inside as well, but he's going to be under pressure from LSBR5. They're going to go 3 wide here in towards turn 7, but Kieran has to back out. Jayville goes deep here, and his sausage coming. Kieran's been tagged around by MLSBR5, and there's contact between Berger and Jayville. And oh my god, that is another safety car here as chaos unfolds. Kieran, White9 BRT is out of the session. He's crashed into Sam Burke. Tiger has sped under the safety car, and he's picked up a drive-through, but the gap is 20 seconds. The gap, what? This is very, very interesting. But Tiger now is coming into the pit lane for the inters, I presume. So So they were all fighting, and then Kieran got tagged around, I think. And then I think Jabo and Berger had an incident of their own. Oh my god, Berger has just crashed into the pit lane, and that is probably the most idiotic thing I've seen in a while. Not great. Not great, I can't lie to you. But there's still plenty of time left in this race. Thingy has lagged out the session. Okay. I've sent Kieran an invite, so I think he's disconnected, or maybe he just left manually, which is of course a penalty. But Jean is boxed for a new set of the wet tyres, which is interesting because everyone has gone into inters. Tiger has also gone into inters as well. But let's wait and see how this pays off for the Haas. It does look like the crossover is now, as it's not raining as hard anymore. It's barely raining at all, to be honest. So maybe there's hope for dry weather towards the end of this race. We still have 20 laps of racing action to go here in Catalonia. As we will have to wait for all these guys to join me back, as Sam Burke has overtaken MLS BR5. I think MLS BR5 lost it on traction, and then Sam Burke has taken the position. Well, that's going to be interesting. I don't think Sam Burke would be able to give back that position without giving away a penalty to the game. So I'm not sure. Maybe the stewards will look at that after the race. But oh no, Sam's tried to let him through here, and that's cool. I don't think the game is giving a penalty. No, it is, because MSBR5 had to let him back. But so unfortunately for MSBR5, he is lost out in this situation. Sam is trying. Okay, these guys should make a decision on whether they're going to switch or not, because otherwise someone is going to lose their front wing, and I've seen enough front wing lost for today alone. So looks like it's all fixed now. MSBR5 has gotten the position back, so that's all good there between those two drivers. We currently sit P2 and P3. Sam Burke, of course, finishing in the points in Australia, and I don't believe he was with us last time out in Bahrain. So hopefully he can pick up some solid points again here in Spain. But it's currently Gareth Minimad who leads the race. He took the first pole position of the season, but unfortunately luck has not been on his side here through the first couple of rounds. He's been in the thick of it, if I do say so myself, and unfortunately he's only been able to accumulate, I think, only 9 points so far this season, which is disappointing considering how much pace he has had. But at the moment he is leading this Spanish Grand Prix, and he has the pace to go on and win it. So let's see how he does as we now go towards the safety car restart. He will be controlling the pace and leading us away for the second time this race. Welcome to the stream, Prems. I hope you're enjoying the stream. As EduK has made a mistake out of the final corner, and he's knocked over the bollard, and he has no temperature in his tyres. MLSBR5 is out of the session. That is another safety car, please. Not. Yay, no safety car. That is good news. Anyways, we are down to 7 drivers now, and 6 because Kira's car is an AI. So Gareth has had a clean safety car restart. Sam Burke has managed to get past MSBR5 because MSBR5 has crashed. EduK sorry, Tiger's now back into P3, but he does have that drive through he needs to serve. LGK is currently in P4. Jean is in P5 on the wet compound tyres again, after everyone around him is boxed for inters, and he forces Jable off track, which I guess is a bit of payback for what Jable did to him early in the race while overtaking him. But Jable gets the move done anyway, so not really much point of the aggressive defending there, as he now drops into P6, only ahead of Kieran's AI car. So Gareth at the front has already got a 2-second gap. I'm kind of hoping this race dries up, because that would be very interesting and would spice up this race. But at the moment it is Gareth who leads by almost 2.5 seconds already, as my game has a massive screen freeze, and it's been screen freezing quite a lot today, which is probably something to do with the new patch, because I've never really had screen freezes before this. So well done EA, great stuff. But AJK with the fastest last sector. Jean has spun at the final corner, and Tiger has served his drive through. So hopefully Tiger can have a comeback drive through the field, as on the wet compound tyres he was dominating the race until he picked up that drive through. So hopefully he can make his way back through the field. Javon now is going to go for a move on AJK, possibly no. He sets the fastest sector 1, but unfortunately cannot make the move on AJK, so he's going to have to try it somewhere else. He's having a bit of a look in towards turn 5, then now go down towards turn 6, 7 and 8, around the little bend here before hitting turn 7 and 8. Sam Burke is very slow, and AJK and Javel are now onto the back of him as well. The gap only 4 seconds between Sam Burke and Gareth, as now AJK is looking for a move on Sam Burke, possibly here in towards the modified turn 10, but he's gone too late on the brakes and he's hit Sam in the back, and that's caused Javel to get caught up in this, and Sam has somehow managed to keep the position. AJK has been tapped there by Javel, so Sam keeping the position, but now he's under pressure from Javel, and Javel says thank you very much to AJK and Sam, who are caught up fighting between themselves, and takes the P2 position away from both of them, as Gareth sets a new fastest lap with 1:39.37. So that is definitely the crossover, if that wasn't apparent before, as that is almost 2 seconds quicker than the fastest the previous fastest lap before this. But anyways, AJK and Sam Burke have still got a battle to fight here for P3, and then Tiger is going to be catching up to them hopefully soon if he keeps up the good work. But the gap already is 5.7 between Gareth and Javel after just about 2 laps of racing after the safety car. So it looks like the leaders, whoever leads at the safety car restart, is getting away because of all the battling. But Javel is closing in that gap, and this could be another titanic battle between these two for P1, like we had in Australia. Unfortunately, in Australia, that did not end well for either driver, as Gareth lost it on traction and unfortunately collected Javel with him. But hopefully that doesn't happen again today, and these two can have a nice battle here at the front. But the current battle we're focusing on is the battle for the podium between Edge UK and Sam Burke. Of course, Edge UK finished in P4 last week in Bahrain. His first point since season 1. This is the season 1. No, he didn't finish the season 1 finale. Yeah, his first point since season 1, round 13 probably then, because yeah, Brazil, I think he got points in Brazil. Of course, the season 1 tier 2 finale, the championship battle was on between EJK and Harry, but unfortunately both of them DNF'd for the race, and DNF from the race, sorry, and EJK was crowned champion as he had the advantage into the final round. But season 2 was something to forget for EJK, where he scored 0 points after attending pretty much every race and DNF'd a lot of the races. So season 2 was not his finest, but it looks like he's bouncing back and getting form here again in season 3, no points in Australia, but he did pick up a nice P4 finish in Bahrain, 12 points to his name, and he's currently running in P4 again and fighting for that podium place with Sam Burke in front of him for P3. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys can fight here, as LJK tried to have a look earlier on, of course, and went into the back of Sam Burke, which gave Javel both positions for free, but that is irrelevant now, as it's only these two battling now. So hopefully LJK doesn't go into the back of him again. But these guys have also got to deal with Tiger, who will be on the comeback. But as I say, that he runs very wide and all over that sausage curb. That is definitely not going to help him gain any time. But at least he doesn't spin on the curb, which is very easy to do. Jean has finally succumbed to the intermediate tyres, and he's finally strapped on a set of inters. So good stuff from the Hassman, who's finally recognised that the wet tyres are not the way to go, as Tiger gets the move done on his teammate for P5, goes to the cut of Kieran, who I believe just left after the incident. So penalty will probably be handed out there for Kieran, but at the moment it's Gareth who's dominating here. Out in front, the gap is 6 seconds again, so Javel had a little bit of a push, but looks like Gareth is just managing the gap out in front. The closest on-track battle is between Sam Burke and AJK, but unfortunately AJK cannot get close enough to make a move on Sam Burke at the moment. So we're just going to have to stay on board with this battle and hope that either AJK gets close enough to make the move, or Tiger Assassin catches up to both of them and then makes this an interesting battle for P3. But anyways, Tiger is closing that gap quickly. It's about 11 seconds to the end of the last lap, and now it's only 10.2 pretty much. So hopefully he can catch up to these guys right before the end of the race. And the rain is not letting up, so it doesn't look like we'll be getting dry weather towards the end of this race. I'm not quite sure what happened in PlayStation 2 1, but I know it was wet for wet, and then it went to inters, and then to dry as well. So a very interesting, like, similar pattern here going on, but I think it went dry very late in their race, so hopefully the same happens here, as that could definitely spice some things up here at the end of this race. But at the moment Gareth has got it under control, leading by 6.3 seconds, and then it's Javel in P2, and then P3 and P4 are Sam Burke and AJK fighting for P3 here. Tiger Assassin is in 5th, Jean runs 7th, and Kieran is P6, but his car is 8i. But Javel having a moment out of the final corner there, as Berger has left the session. He DNF'd earlier, I cannot remember how. Veteran crashed at turn 3. Weiss's 9BRT crashed under the safety car. He ran into the back of someone, I think. MSVR5 crashed in the final corner, and Berger, I'm not sure. I cannot actually remember how Berger DNF'd, but unfortunate day in the office for him. The McLaren 1-2 that was looking so good after qualifying and the first few laps has now completely dissipated, as both of the drivers are out of the session. Jean has set the fastest lap though at the back of the field, 19 seconds to the next human controlled car. So a bit of work for the Haas driver to do, but I'm sure if anyone could do it, it is him, as SGK now, the gap is only 5/10. Can he make the move here? Still way too far back to make the move, but interestingly, look at the gap in the front, is gone down to about 5 seconds here. between Gareth and Jabil, but Gareth doesn't look like he's using his ERS, 100% ERS. He is pretty much in management mode, whereas Jabil is probably pushing full out, using all his ERS, and he has got the fastest lap of the race, new fastest lap to be fair, so maybe he does have some pace, and I am underestimating him. The gap now down to 4.9 here, as the gap between Jabil and Sam Burke grows ever more to now 11.6 seconds. AJK though will be looking for the move on Sam Burke as they head down towards turn 1 to start lap 22 of this race. But look at the gap between AJK and Tiger Assassin. It is starting to come down. The gap is now only 6 seconds between the two drivers. It was initially 11 seconds, and also the gap at the front is now down to about 4.7. So there will be some battles appearing very soon here if the current trends continue. So maybe I got wrong after all, and it was Jabil in management mode, maybe not of his ERS but of his tires. But Gareth should have this under control, as he's got like almost 50% more ERS. So good ERS management from the Williams driver there. Everyone else is pretty much good on ERS apart from Jean. So Jean and Jabil, well, Jabil isn't that bad, he's about 40%, but that's still pretty poor compared to the rest of the field, who are sitting around the 80, 70, 90 mark. But the gap is down to 4.4, so Jabil is starting to close the gap here, but those ERS levels don't give me much hope that he can make a move here on Gareth. But there's a yellow in sector 3, and that is because, never mind, it was a fake yellow by the game. So EA at it again. Codemasters, brilliant, lovely. But anyways, the gap here between AJK and Tiger Assassin is now 4.2 seconds. So almost 4 seconds between them, and Tiger now is really starting to get close to these two, and he really wants that podium finish here in Spain. Interestingly, no penalties have been picked up for exceeding track limits. That's very interesting, but this new Spain is harder to pick up exceeding track limits warnings, as the track is a lot wider than it was before, and while certain corners like turn 8 perhaps have gotten sausage curbs on them, so you cannot exceed them, otherwise you will spin. So yeah, it is harder to exceed track limits on this newer Spain, so that is probably contributing to why we have no penalties at the moment. But this is getting very interesting. Jabil set a new fastest lap of the race. The gap at the front now is only 3.7 seconds. Jabil's taken out 7/10 on Gareth in the last 2 laps respectively, so almost like 1.4 seconds. Tiger's also closing in on these guys, and guess what, AJK is finally starting to make a push here on Sam Burke, and is closing in on the Alfa Romeo here as we head onto lap 24.33, and Sam has lost it on the curb. Sam has spun, he's buckled under the pressure. AJK switched on the ERS button, he started to pressure Sam just that little bit more, and has forced the Alfa Romeo driver into a mistake. Lovely race management there from AJK, just sitting behind, not striking, and the moment he turned on that ERS button, Gareth has spun here at turn 11 and has gifted Jabil P1. Jabil now leads this race, and it is Gareth who's falling down behind him, and I wonder if that's why Jabil was closing in. Is Gareth struggling with overheating here? Is that maybe the reason he spun, or was it just a mistake? Either way, all his hard work at the front has been undone here, as now Jabil leads this race, and he might have to box here, as yeah, he's got damage like expected. So Gareth is into a pit lane, and he will fall behind AJK, Tiger Assassin and Sam Burke, and he'll fall into P5, so that promotes AJK back into the top 2, and Tiger Assassin is back on the podium with a chance of getting a P2 finish here after unfortunately picking up a drive through. And Gareth, oh my god, this is a massive gamble by the Williams drive. He's gone on to the soft compound tyres. Two reasons why this is not going to work. A, it is still raining. B, the sign for safety car coming in has not come out yet, and Gareth has actually left this session intentionally, and he has not retired his car, so that is probably going to be a post-race penalty for the Williams driver there. But anyways, is Javel, who leads now by 17.8 seconds now. But anyways, the battle for P2 is still on here between Tiger and Edgy UK, and possibly Sandberg if he can get himself back into this battle. Jean will be able to get P5 as he'll be able to overtake Gareth's AI car and move himself up into P5. So hopefully Tiger can launch a move on AJ UK so we can get some action towards the end of this race. Javel looks like he had a moment out of the final corner, and that would be a great shame if he lost it, but it would give us a new race winner here. The third race winner from 3 rounds it would be, but at the moment it's like Javel's going to win 2 out of the first 3 rounds heading into the break week and lead the championship if it stays as it is. Javel has been the man to beat this season. He's had the pace. Even in Australia, when he DNF'd, he was fighting for the win there. So he has had the pace all season long so far, and he's been the man to beat. But can AJ UK hold up Tiger Assassin? This podium would be great for both of them. Both of them not been on the podium this season, I believe, and not been on the podium for quite a while. So it would be quite good for both of them. AJ UK locks up a bit there in towards turn number 5 as they now head down towards turn 6, 7 and 8 for the 26th time in this race. It's been a chaotic race so far, but what can these drivers do now? Tiger, he's caught up the gap, but can he make the move? It's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. Can Tiger make the move here on Edgy UK as they now head down towards the newly modified turn 10 before swinging around into the third sector, which has been made wider, I believe, to encourage more overtaking opportunities. But is Tiger now again close to AJ UK here through the final few corners? Can he get a good exit on the final corner? That is the question. AJ UK is squarely all over the place, but so is Tiger, so it's going to be close here down towards turn 1. They have about equal ERS levels as they both head down towards turn 1, and they're both deploying all of it, so that ends in a rather anticlimactic anticlimactic finish at the end of the straight. But at the moment Javel leads the race here by now almost the whole pit stop. If he just gains a couple more seconds, he will lead by almost the whole pit stop, which is insane. I would not have been saying that at the start of the race, and especially after his qualifying performance where he was seemingly all over the shop. He's found a happy balance here in the car and probably ran a wet setup in qualifying, which explains why he struggled so much through the qualifying session, but is perfectly fine here. But Tiger now could make the move on Edgy UK for P2, but we're going to have to wait and see, as it is very difficult to overtake through this third sector. Jean has made the move on Gareth's AI, so he's now up into P5. Sandberg, unfortunately, has fallen off the pace ever since his spin, so probably overheated his tyres. But now Tiger is going to have the run here on Edgy UK down towards turn 1, but once again both of them using the ERS, so Tigers is basically neutralized, and no DRS in these conditions, of course, as it is too dangerous to be running DRS in the wet compound in the wet conditions. So No DRS, making it harder to overtake here, causing NJK to stay out in front of Tiger at the moment. But Tiger is the quicker man, so with about 5-6 laps left in this race, I wouldn't be surprised if the Englishman does find a way past. But NJK, using all his experience from that season 1 championship, to hold up Tiger Assassin at the moment and frustrate the owner's evening. But Jabil now just unstoppable. Once he's got into the lead, he just, well, once Gareth spun, he's gifted the win here. Now 20.1 seconds. When Jabil has led this season, he's been unstoppable. Even in Bahrain, he's just once he gets into the lead, you can basically say goodbye to your chance of winning, because he just dominates throughout the race. But his problem is getting there in the first race, as he's, in fairness, he's not the quickest. Sorry, in all honesty, he's not the quickest qualifier, but he has the race craft. He has amazing racecraft here, and it just enables him to just get past all these drivers at the start, and then just dominate from there on. But can Tiger make the move on Can Tiger make the move on AJEK is the question we are all asking now, as we're headed towards the end of this 33-lap Spanish Grand Prix, which has been completely wet from start to finish, transitioned from the full wet tyres to the inters, however. So it'll be interesting to see how how Tiger Assassin can do in these final few laps, as once we cross the line, we only have 3 laps. Yeah, 3 laps of racing action until the end, as Jabil has already crossed the line. He is burning the ERS, so I think he might be going for fastest lap attempt. He better not do that and spin. That's all I'm gonna say. That would be rather unfortunate if he were to spin, but it would give AJK or Tiger the chance of winning this race. And now I think Tiger's finally understanding AJK's using his ERS down the straight, and Tiger has not used his ERS as much down the straight. So now Tiger has the advantage by about 20% on ERS, and he can definitely load it up through the final few laps and try to use this advantage to his benefit to try and get past. But at the moment, AJK is the one who leads the duo as they head down towards turn 5 for the 30th time this Grand Prix. Jabil out in front, no troubles in the world at the moment. Hopefully he doesn't spin, but the gap now to AJK is pretty much a whole pit stop, and he is dominating, quite simply, this Spanish Grand Prix. And at the start we thought it might have been the 2 McLarens. Unfortunately, like the 2 Ferraris, they ended up in the walls and out of this race. So DNFs across the board there for Ferrari and McLaren. Not their finest days in the office, but I'm sure they will bounce back here, as all 4 drivers have enough quality to definitely bounce back over the course of the season. But at the moment, Tiger Assassin is closer than he's ever been to AJK on the exit of the final corner. This time it looks like he's going to use the ERS, but it looks like AJK can have it covered in towards turn 1. Tiger still has the ERS advantage though, so he needs to keep working away with that. Can he possibly make a move here in towards turn 4? He runs a bit wide through turn 3, but so does AJK, and AJK's off track, and this has got to be Tiger's chance. He's got to try and make the move here. It's now or never. AJK defends the inside. Can Tiger go for the switch? But no, he can't. Well defended by AJR UK there, putting a stop to whatever plans Tiger was thinking of there, as AJK ran wide through turn 3. But unfortunately for Tiger, he cannot capitalise on the AlphaTauri's misfortune. well, AlphaTauri's mistake, sorry, not misfortune. Jean becomes the first driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, and that is pretty good considering we're on lap 31 of 33. So congrats to the drivers that have finished, as AJUK has actually made a mistake. AJUK has spun, and that has given Tiger the avenue he needed to get up into P2 and move himself up into up onto the second step of the podium, and he will be picking up 18 points. Granted, the race finishes like this. Let me see who's got the fastest lap. That is Jayville, and by quite some margin. Yeah, almost 4 attempts to Gareth, who's unfortunately for him left the session. I mean, if he just stayed in and finished, he would have gotten points, but I don't know, maybe I don't know. But anyways, Jayville now leads by almost 25 seconds. It's been an absolutely clinical display from the Red Bull driver. This is a major margin. It might be one of the biggest in NRL history, if not the biggest. I will have to check the stats after this race, but at the moment this has been an amazing display by Jayville so far, as he leads Tiger Assassin by 24.6 seconds. Can AJUK possibly I don't know, try get past Tiger? I don't think he's got the pace for that, unfortunately. Jayville with a new fast lap, 1:29.0. He is not slowing down. He wants to take the win and the fastest lap. Unfortunately, cannot take the Grand Slam, as he did not take pole position. That was Berger, or it was one of the McLarens. Yeah, it was Berger on pole position. But anyways, back to the strategy. Jayville's played it perfectly. He went onto the wets at the first safety car, trusted his instinct, and it worked out for him. And then when the second safety car came out, boxed onto the inters. And like Tiger Assassin, these two have played strategy perfectly, boxing from the sticking out on the wets for like a few more laps and then boxing onto the inters. It's worked out perfectly for them. AJUK has made a massive mistake and he's into the gravel there. Unfortunately, Sam Burke is not close enough to get close to him. But AJUK has been on these tyres for 27 laps here. I wonder if he might have a puncture there. I don't think so though. It might have just been a mistake. But anyways, Jayville rounds the final corner to win in Spain. What a dominant performance by the Red Bull drive. New fastest lap, 1:28.3. Absolutely dominant from the Red Bull driver, who takes his second win of the season. Back-to-back wins for the Red Bull driver, who also takes a championship lead here in PlayStation Tier 2. Tiger Assassin will be the next across the line in P2. He'll finish about 26 seconds adrift of the race leader. Let's see what it is when he gets to line. 26.428. AJUK finally back on the podium. First time saying it in a while, but AJUK takes the podium here in PlayStation Tier 2. Good to see him back on the podium and back where he deserves to be. Sam Burke will be next across the line. Takes a solid P4. Good drive by the Alfa Romeo driver, and Jean, through all his troubles, has managed to make the line and will finish in a respectable P5 position, and that will be the end for this race. So congratulations to Jayville, who wins here in Spain. Absolutely dominant performance by him. Wins driver of the day, and deservedly so. No one could touch him here in tonight's race, and he's taken his second win of the season and Red Bull's second win of the season as well. And now they will move to the top of both standings. I think Jayville will definitely be top in the drivers and possibly in the constructors as well. I'm not sure. AJK unfortunately had damage. Well, pretty still respectable drive to make it onto the podium with damage there. But unfortunately got pinched by Tiger Assassin at the end of the race for P2. But still, good to see you back on the podium. But Jayville, he's taken back-to-back podiums. He's on a mission this season, and that's his second win of the season. Back-to-back here for the Red Bull driver, who now takes the championship lead from Vettel as we head into the 1 week break before the Imola sprint race weekend. But anyways, we'll get more into that in 2 weeks' time. Jayville is the winner of this race with the fastest lap. Tiger Assassin finishes 26.4 seconds off. Then it's AJK 33.873 seconds off. Then Sam Burke, Jean in P5, Kieran, Gareth will not count as both their cars were AI. And then MLS BR5, Burger 78, Weiss 9 BLT, and Vettel 1 were the DNFEs from tonight's race. But anyways, I've been that's unfortunate, AJK. Maybe next time you should try a wet tire setup. Sorry, a wet race setup, as that might help. And you're not the only one who doesn't like the rain. But hopefully there's no rain next time out in Imola, as we are going for the Sprint Race Grand Prix, the first sprint race of 3 this season. The other coming at Britain and this is a good question. Britain and Monza, I want to say. Yeah, Britain and Monza, the other 2 sprint races. But anyways, I've been EVG F1 Lover, streaming PlayStation Tier 2 Round 3, and I will catch you all next time for the imminent sprint race in 2 weeks' time. Thank you.